Right now, you feel completely safe. You're warm. You're fed. You're surrounded by light and other people. Your ancient ancestors never felt this way. Not once in their entire lives. Every single sunset was a countdown to terror. When the sun dipped below the horizon, your brain fundamentally changed. The safety you feel now doesn't exist in darkness. And that shift in your mind is the oldest fear you carry. It's still here. It never left. For 299,000 years, your ancestors lived in a world where nightfall meant death could find them. Not maybe. Not probably. Definitely. Predators hunted exclusively at night. Saber-toothed cats. Hyenas. Leopards that could pluck a human from a tree with claws the size of your fingers. Your ancestors didn't sleep through the night like you do. They fragmented their sleep. They took shifts. They kept fires burning. Because the moment the flames died, something was coming. Neuroscientist James Moss conducted a study at Cornell University showing that humans have an innate hypervigilance response to darkness, a neurological state that keeps your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, in a state of high alert when you cannot see. This isn't anxiety. This isn't cultural. This is written into the hardware of your nervous system. Your ancestors survived because they were terrified of darkness. The ones who felt safe at night didn't have children. But darkness wasn't the only fear. Your ancestors feared isolation. A human alone was prey. A human alone was dead. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar studied early human groups and discovered that our ancestors rarely ventured beyond sight of their tribe. Separation anxiety wasn't a disorder, it was a survival mechanism. If you got separated from your group, predators would eat you. Disease would kill you. Starvation would end you. Your brain learned to panic when you were alone. That panic kept you alive. Then there was disease. Your ancestors didn't understand germs or viruses, but they understood death. They watched other humans sicken and rot while they were still alive. The smell of disease became a trigger for disgust, a powerful emotion that made you want to flee, to reject, to isolate the sick person before their sickness became yours. That disgust you feel when you see something rotting or infected, that involuntary revulsion, that's the echo of your ancestors watching plague move through their group. And starvation. Historian who studied prehistoric dig sites found evidence that your ancestors went hungry regularly. Not occasionally. Regularly. The fear of scarcity runs through your DNA like a current. Your body hoards calories. Your mind obsesses over resources. When food appears, you want to consume it immediately. You don't feel safe until your belly is full and your storehouses are bursting. Even now. Even though you live in a time of genuine abundance. Your ancestors also feared the unknown. Rustling in the bushes could be a herbivore or a predator. You didn't wait to find out. You ran. Your brain evolved to assume the worst. If something was uncertain, it was dangerous. This is called the precautionary principle, and it's hardwired into your amygdala. You err on the side of fear. And that kept you alive. For 300,000 years. But then something changed. Around 10,000 years ago, your ancestors stopped being nomads. They built permanent settlements. They grew crops instead of hunting. They learned to domesticate animals. They created surplus. They built walls. They invented language and story. They created civilization. And your fears became obsolete. But your brain didn't update. Your brain is still running the same ancient operating system. Darkness still triggers panic. Separation still triggers anxiety. Uncertainty still triggers paranoia. You see a stranger and your first instinct is suspicion, not curiosity, because for most of human history, strangers meant violence. You see an opportunity to hoard resources and you feel compelled to take it, even if you don't need it, because for most of human history, scarcity was constant. You watch news about distant threats and you feel them as if they're hunting you personally because your brain has no distinction between the abstract and the immediate. A headline about disease triggers the same neural response as the smell of plague. Psychologist David Buss wrote extensively about this phenomenon. He calls it the mismatch between our ancestral mind and our modern environment. You are a person built for survival in a predator-rich, resource-scarce, high-mortality world, living in a safe, abundant, connected world. Your fears are no longer serving you. They're haunting you. So what terrifies you now? Darkness still does, but you fight it with light and blame it on nothing. Isolation still does, but you call it introversion or call it peace. Disease still does, but now it's a headline on your phone, and you feel the ancient panic as if the plague is outside your door. Starvation still does, you call it food insecurity, and you feel it even when you're not hungry, even when you have enough. Uncertainty still does, you doom scroll at night, feeding the ancient terror with endless catastrophe. You never sit still without fear. Your ancestors couldn't either. But theirs was rational. Yours is a ghost. The question is not why you're afraid. The question is why you're still afraid when nothing is hunting you. Your ancient ancestors couldn't answer that question. They lived it. But you can answer it. You can understand where the fear comes from. You can recognize it as the voice of people who lived 100,000 years before you and died so that you could live now. And you can choose not to let their survival strategies destroy your sanity. When the sun sets tonight, your ancestors will panic. But you don't have to listen. If you got this far, thank you for being here with me. Don't forget to like and to subscribe for more videos and share this with your friends. See you in the next one.